Hello, and welcome to another Stay Wild at Home adventure with Wild Things. My name's Luke Strachan, I'm the CEO of Wild Things, and this is...
I'm Ellie, the Fieldwork Manager at Wild Things.
And together we're going to be taking a closer look at aromatic plants. So our activity today kind of focuses around lavender, which you can see here, but we're going to be discussing some other interesting and aromatic plants, which may have many different kinds of properties and uses which you hadn't known about before. So without further ado, let's take a look at some lavender. So here we are in the Findhorn Village Centre garden, and as you may be aware, the focus of today's session is really lavender, and Eleanor has kindly brought us in two beautiful samples of lavender, so that we have two different species here to have a look at. The first one up here is English lavender, and the one below is French lavender. And they smell much the same, but you can see by having a look at them in closer detail that there are some differences in the way that the flowers form. But yeah, it's a really beautiful plant, and probably best known for its scent. It's used in a wide variety of different cosmetic products, and you've probably all at one point or other used lavender scented soap. One of the reasons we've chosen lavender for this activity is that it's an incredibly non-toxic plant. Its essential oil doesn't cause irritation or rashes or anything like that, as some essential oils are known to do. Perhaps the most widely known use of lavender is as a sleeping aid. Because it's got such a relaxing scent, it's thought to reduce stress and relax your body, and that creates favourable conditions for sleep. So lavender, whether it's a spray on your pillow or a lavender scent bag, as we're going to make later today, is a great idea to tuck it under your pillow or to have a lavender scent in your room as you're going to sleep, because it's quite likely that it is going to relax you and get you in the right frame of mind to have a really nice relaxing sleep. What we found is that there's actually loads of different uses for lavender which are less commonly known. And Eleanor's done a great deal of research into this, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the many different uses that lavender has.
One of the most interesting I've found is that lavender can be used as a snake venom antidote. Obviously it wouldn't work on all snake venoms, but it has been shown to be effective against some of them, which I thought was really interesting.
That's incredible.
Yeah, such a powerful little plant. So it's also got antibacterial properties. And it's been shown to be effective against some really harmful bacteria such as typhoid, diphtheria and pneumococcus, the one that causes pneumonia. So that's quite interesting as well. So that can also be used in its essential oil form on wounds as an antiseptic, and it can aid healing as well. So it can help with particularly burns and scalds, and it can aid the healing process and prevent the formation of scar tissue in those areas. So some really interesting uses, and then obviously the main one as a relaxant. You can use it in your bath, or you can put it into the scent bags that we're talking about. And the other property of the scent bags is that's actually an insect repellent. So it can also go in amongst your clothes to make them smell nice, but can also repel all those clothes moths and things like that.
Very interesting. It's interesting that it's an insect repellent, because it's an insect repellent for the right kind of insect. If you put it in your cupboard and you want to keep your woolen garments safe. But if you're a bee, this is one of your number one flowers. Bees of all species absolutely love lavender. And as a beekeeper myself, I know this. So if you are interested in bees and you want to look at different varieties of bees, it's a really good idea to go and find a little lavender patch in your garden and just sit there quietly for 5 or 10 minutes. On a sunny day, undoubtedly you'll see many different species of bumblebee and honeybee as well arriving to enjoy the nectar and pollen that lavender produces. And here we have another really iconic and beautiful smelling plant here, and it's mint.
Obviously mint's fantastic in food, and it really is like the best thing you can do with it, in my opinion, is a mint sorbet. It's absolutely wonderful on a hot summer's day. In terms of its other properties, it's been used medicinally to help relieve fevers and headaches, and it's also used to aid digestive problems such as stomach aches and things like that. It's also been found to be quite effective at repelling rodents from the house. Some people just hang it up like this as a bundle, and that's supposed to deter house mice and rats from coming into your house. This is rosemary, a very common garden aromatic plant, and it's used as a herb, so you can use it dried or you can use it fresh. And you can use the leaves to flavour food, or you can actually use the flowers as well, which we don't have at the moment, and they have a more mild taste to them. Rosemary is also used medicinally, so it's got antiseptic properties and anti-inflammatory, so it's used to help wounds, help keep them nice and sterile and stop them from inflaming. It's also a very powerful antioxidant, which is a bit of a buzzword at the moment for health food reasons. If you are going to use something medicinally as a herbal remedy, you do need to see a consultant and make sure that there's not anything else that it might interfere with.
So another really interesting aromatic herb we wanted to discuss with you was sage. Sage is a really common garden plant. You'll find it in a lot of different gardens and in parks as well. It has loads of medicinal uses, as well as being quite tasty in a lot of different dishes as well. So it has really strong antibacterial properties. And it's actually played an interesting role in dental and oral hygiene. And strangely enough, the abrasive quality of the leaf itself, combined with the antibacterial properties of the leaf, make it a really wonderful natural toothbrush. And honestly, you can use it to just brush your teeth like this, and it's got a really delicious flavour. But honestly, your teeth feel really clean after you've used it. It's quite remarkable. In addition to that, it actually does help protect you against mouth ulcers and cold sores as well, again thanks to its antibacterial properties. Sage also has astringent qualities. That means it absorbs excess water in your body. This can be really useful for treating a variety of different health conditions. Anything where you might be prone to excess salivation, or for instance, if you're prone to having night sweats, sage can be a really useful treatment.
Today's activity, we're going to be making some lavender scent bags. They'll come out about this size, and you can put them underneath your pillow, or you can put them in your clothes to make them smell really nice. To make it look neat, we are going to fold it over, and so on the inside. If we fold it over again, that's going to look really neat when we turn it back around the right way round. So take your needle and thread and start to sew along that edge. If this is a bit too fiddly, one of your friends can help you by doing this part for you, and then maybe you could use a string at the top to tie it all together. That's one side. We're going to do the same up the other side and leave the top open. Once you've done both sides, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit untidy, because you can turn it inside out and the edges look neat. Inside here, we're going to put some rice and some lavender. The rice is basically to bulk it out and keep the moisture out as well. So you probably want maybe a tiny bit less than that, but just so that when you fold it over, it's going to look nice and neat. The lavender, take off the flowers, the dried flowers, and put those into your bag. So once all the lavender and the rice is in there, all mixed up, you want to fold down the top twice and then sew along the last bit, and that will seal it up. Another option, if that's a bit too fiddly, is you can bunch it all together and tie a bit of wool or a ribbon around this bit here. It's best if you use a bit of thread for this bit that's the same colour, but if not, try and keep it nice and neat. Tie the thread off at the end, break off the extra bits, and there we have it, a lavender scent bag.
Well, that brings us to the end of another Stay Wild at Home episode. We really hope you've enjoyed learning about aromatic herbs and their various culinary and medicinal uses. We really hope that you enjoy making your lavender bags as well, and that you find them useful in some way, either as a gift to your friends or family, as something which can maybe help you get a good night's sleep tucked under your pillow, or even in your cupboard as a ward against moths and wool-eating insects. We look forward to seeing you again next week for another Stay Wild at Home adventure. Until then, stay wild at home.